Alrighty, we are go.
Okay, so we'll just start with this. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Loading Screen. Gonna be doing stuff a little bit different today, but still joined with my co-host for the past couple of these, I guess now. Brother Virtue, my democratic
Hey,
brother in arms
for democracy.
for democracy. So yeah, today we're don't have the usual background. We're actually gonna be playing some Helldivers while we're doing our little podcast because we can't stop playing Helldivers. And
This is true.
yeah,
That and we
so
also had another podcast where your audio was garbage. So here we are.
yeah, so it's kind of like take two, and we're like, we're not just gonna waste time doing another one. We're gonna get shit done, and so we're over here on Hellmire, dealing with some bugs. But anyway, so we got a couple things we wanted to talk about today. We can go ahead and load up a mission while we're doing this. I don't really care.
Sounds good, man.
And I know we talked about this already. This is, like I said, it's like our take two thing, but we're gonna do like our Monster Hunter stuff first, and then we want to talk about like the other survival games that we were playing, and then obviously we're gonna be discussing Helldivers because that's the newest hottest sensation for the next month until Dragon's Dogma comes out. So yeah,
Look at that planet. That's such a dope looking planet.
it is.
It's spinning too.
I tried to salute you and it took your help pod.
Jesus. That works.
Yeah, this planet's fucking awesome. So anyway, Monster Hunter. Obviously, not a whole lot going on in the Monster Hunter like space, but we do have some drama. We got because I mean that's all there is to talk about these days. Because
Drama.
yeah, what else are people gonna do, right?
Because sex sells. I mean, violence. I mean, shit talking.
I mean that's half of it, right?
Pretty much.
But anyway, so was it Queen Ponsley or someone? I don't know.
Queen
exactly.
Ponslot.
Ponslot.
One of them pooners.
Certified Capcom creator, by the way, decided it was a good idea
That really
to
doesn't mean what it used to mean,
No,
and I
but
don't even think what it used to mean was all that much,
it never
anyways, to
mattered.
begin with.
It never
Right.
It never mattered. Nobody cares about it because the Monster Hunter scene for that is like it's garbage. They don't support him at all. But anyway,
Yeah.
but it's just
Shit
funny
flinging
that
for the
this
day.
is like a Capcom backed creator. This is just what I was getting at, and they thought it was a fun idea to fake a blind speedrun for clout. I don't know why they did it.
Yeah.
Oh, my game just crashed.
Oh, here we are, both crashing.
Did you crash
Well,
too?
I did too. Let's get back in it.
Okay. But anyway, so everyone knows that the speedrun's fake. Like it was clearly obvious. We both have, past histories of doing challenge runs, blind runs, whatever.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but to me it was very obviously fake from the get-go. That's why I don't know why this blew up to be such a big thing.
I mean, I've watched a couple different videos on it. I think previously you had brought up a specific video of a guy that is known for doing blind speedruns, and that's his thing. So to have him kind of weigh in, I think authenticates more so than just us being like, we've done it, it's hard, it's near impossible, and this looks like bullshit. So
Well,
I think
it was more
other
it was
people.
more sorry.
No, you're fine.
I would say it was more so it was Carl Jobs who does a lot of like investigative
it was.
videos on not just gaming and stuff, but of like cheaters and speed runs and stuff like that. So I mean, he's got a
I would say
really good video on it.
I watched a video of a speedrunner that had like weighed in. I think he did like some blind Mario 64 runs. So maybe
Yeah.
I'd watch a different video, but I don't know.
No, I know you're talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, so we've seen it, and obviously the thing to me was the camera controls and the lack of auto target or target lock, which is like key for playing melee. At least doing blind runs. But anyway, so the first thing I wanted to talk about for this video that was obviously faked, and I don't want to like show the video or whatever. I don't want to give it too much attention, but what was the point? What were they trying to gain out of this besides just clout or fame or something? Because like if you played Monster Hunter or you go in the Monster Hunter scene, there's no fucking fame to be had here.
Right, but it doesn't mean that people aren't still beholden to that ideology and mentality and approach and things. Because I mean, it still very much is a look what I can do, look what I've done, kind of arena. I mean, even for us to kind of harken in with like our own experiences, it's still, I guess, of that sentiment to some degree. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm a proud old vet. I've run this content. I definitely could probably rattle off some hunts or I guess like the difficulty of things, you start talking about like Apex and like 140s and different iterations of things. It was kind of a you had to be there moment. So for us, it is an established pride moment. So I don't know. I guess maybe that's the takeaway for blind speed running is look what I can do.
I guess. But like, do
I
you
don't know.
really think that they thought that no one was gonna find out, or that it was just so perfectly faked that it was just gonna slide? Especially when you put it on like Asmongold's Reddit and have him show everybody, and then everybody watches it.
Well, did she out herself, or because I feel like other people kind of chimed in, and that's what brought him to the forefront of it.
I think other people posted it.
You
on
got
his Reddit.
some
Yeah, I
friends there
do.
already.
Sorry, I gotta do voice commands really quick. So,
Who do we
Ranger
got in
command,
Discord?
send railgun, or deliver railgun. There we go. Ranger command, deliver rover. You don't have to like stop talking while I'm doing my commands. By the way,
No, you're good, man.
It's on my side. Yeah. We got big guys here.
Yeah, we got some objectives in the area. I'll go ahead and start looking at what we got.
Oh fuck. Okay.
We got new codes. I'm gonna turn on an engine.
We just got a bug breach. I can't believe I thought that would be a good idea to do like a podcast and then play this game, because immediately you have to like stop talking and be like, okay, we got to get this shit done.
My weapons are reset for whatever reason. I'm not running my usual loadout, which is not a good thing.
Sorry. 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 Where were we?
Are you able to handle both?
No, I'm
On
working on it.
Helldive?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Calling it a strike.
Okay. So
Danger close.
yeah, maybe she didn't out herself, but the fact that they were streaming it and they did put it on like their YouTube channel, I mean, it was obvious that they put it out there is the thing.
Right. Like, why would you make this content if you knew other people were gonna look at this content and then also subsequently? Hey, you're down.
I am.
And I'm getting messed up. Tell me you're good at this game without telling me you're good at this game. Looks like they're already calling you back into.
Nice. I don't know who they are, but cool.
So, the main point of bringing her up is why again? Why more of this? Why more of the same? I don't know.
Because the speedrun scene is already so hated, and I know this isn't
it's
necessarily
pretty
a
well
speedrun.
saturated with like faux pas and taboo things. Like, I don't know. Doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot of
Right, because it's one more
likable
bad
faces
apple to
over
sour
there.
the bunch.
Exactly.
It seems to happen a lot now. Oh, what the fuck is? Oh, is the
Who got you?
I don't know. It's our teammate.
You're with me now.
Do you have it on just open party?
I think I'm pubbing it at the moment, and that's why I thought I had
Okay.
changed back out of it, but I got the launch code.
They just killed me, but okay. Yeah, so anyway, so it's one more sour apple to kind of mess with the whole speedrun scene. Obviously nobody likes speedrunners and challenge runners and all that stuff, like the hardcore competitive Monster Hunter scene, and now this is just throwing more like fuel to the fire for all that casual scene that already hates us kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was meant to be like the outcome of this, like why they thought this was a good idea. So
It's probably just the usual short-sighted approach to handling situations. Just this is gonna get me attention. At this point, it doesn't really matter if it's good attention, bad attention. You know what I mean? Like, attention's
seems to be
attention.
a common thing now is people just care
Bad
about
news is good news.
Yeah, any news is good news.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I just
AI tower here.
I'm gonna go up north. But anyway, so I don't think that Asmongold helped the situation at all either, being that he's not so I don't know, in tune with the game and familiar with how runs like this work, and that he was given a lot of credence to it being plausible because he didn't understand what would a run like that would have looked like, and so that I think caused a lot of the discourse that people
you're
find with
reliant
each other.
on 20+K people saying no, some saying yes, some people saying yeah, that that's legit, that's not legit.
Yeah, and so
And then everybody caring about what his final take is on the situation.
right, and then just hearing it as fact. So I don't think that helped the whole.
That hasn't
situation
happened in
much.
Monster Hunter before.
No, it's
That's never happened.
ever since World came out. That's just kind of been how it is. So like I don't know. I
say there's no way that there's stream teams of people that aren't known for Monster Hunter that just come in and weigh in, and now we take that as fact. There's no fucking way. It's impossible.
If only, right? Yeah. So that was the thing. Is that I know Asmongold brought a lot of it to light, and then it spread all over Twitter and stuff. And I didn't think it was going to be as big of a deal as it was, just because I thought it was so glaringly obvious. But I guess people don't know, and I guess that's why it was kind of believable. So yeah, it was a weird time. There's not a whole lot going on in Monster Hunter, so that being a thing is not
Drama
surprising.
is easier to sell.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to talk about with that whole thing.
I mean, like, I wasn't really aware of it. It was more so that we've been so caught up with Asmon kind of weighing in on Monster Hunter and being excited to see how, a Soulsian player comes into our series and his thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And he's well spoken, he's well versed, he knows games for sure. But I don't know, it's kind of just been like everybody's reacting to Asmon's reactions lately. And this probably be one of those moments where we don't really want him to weigh in because he's not really doing us any justice.
Well, yeah, because he's not savvy enough on the topic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, God, I can't fucking talk. At the same time, it's like there is literally nothing to talk about in Monster Hunter, so it's like people are just grasping at every little thing.
Pretty much. POI tower up and going.
Okay, I'm gonna get this nest over
here. Push to our primary
Ranger
objective.
command. Orbital barrage.
You think you're so cool over there with your voice attack, huh?
It's so fucking cool, dude. Okay, so there's the thing. Rurikon tweeted at me because they were talking on his podcast about how people were gonna find all sorts of ways to circumvent the DDR gameplay of Helldivers.
People are doing macros, and then we were setting up voice commands that day.
I thought this was a really fucking cool idea because, like, I could just make a macro and have one button push it and no questions asked. You'd be perfect, super fast. And this isn't fast. It's slower than me actually just doing it. But it feels so much more in universe. I love it. Ranger command, deliver supplies or send supplies. Yeah, I gotta get them perfect. I don't know. I thought it was really cool. I want to help you get your setup with the controller and stuff. I need to take some time to do that. But I know they're giving me a lot of shit for doing like macro stuff like this, but I don't know. I thought it was funny. I like it.
Yeah.
Anything else on the whole?
It's hard to focus and do this.
It's hard. It really is.
We haven't done it. Like, okay, so like I'm out of practice. I would say that I used to stream with like Monster Hunter all the time with other people, so you kind of get used to that back and forth riffing, and then also kind of diverting power to a part of your brain to do one thing while you're doing another. So playing those games is one thing. I think playing this game is entirely a different beast.
It's so much more stressful playing Helldivers, and you really have to focus like really, really hard. So I get it. But while we're still on the topic of Monster Hunter, is there anything Monster Hunter related that you want to discuss?
I mean, I think you and I are both kind of on the same page when it comes to Monster Hunter's doing its own thing right now. The celebratory materials and promos. And a lot of that stuff is just not really hitting the mark for anybody. I mean, I'm still excited for the MSI controller when that drops, but we already kind of touched on that in a previous cast about you're not going to push on a whole lot of that stuff. Maybe the controller. I'd like the controller. They came out with some Zoids.
That's right. They did.
If people remember that from like the 90s or the late 80s or whatever.
It's a weird thing to do Monster Hunter Zoids now in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, like I know that there's like the Gunpla stuff and all that. Like, could they have done some more things? Sure. Are they probably going to? I think I told you that they'll probably put out another Uniqlo, which is a clothing brand in Japan, run of stuff leading up, like they usually do. Honestly, if you don't import and you're not in the nature of importing, then it kind of flies by people, like under people's radars as far as what's going on and and what's interesting. And then by the time that you are like, oh shit, that is a dope shirt, you can't get it anymore, or it's like on eBay for way more than it should be.
Yeah,
Plus, and
$2.
sizes are different than in the States.
Can you reinforce that guy? You guys are away from me.
I mean, I don't want to, but I can.
Fair enough.
I got more important shit to do.
Are you gonna play Stories? And then they redid Stories for the PC.
I saw that. So I think originally you and I were both like, so this is more Mohan news. Like you were saying that everybody was in an uproar on Twitter about, we need to have 3U, we need to have 4U ports, and that would be nice to be able to retain some of that. Obviously at this point you pretty much got to like mod, hack, or some iteration of X-Link Kai or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to play those games.
Not X-Link Kai. Was it Hamachi? Sorry.
I don't think you need to run Hamachis or virtual lands anymore. I think all the emulators will support multiplayer through that innately. So I don't think that's that big of a deal anymore. And that's the thing I wanted to say is like I really wish people would give emulators more of a chance, because obviously, I mean, Nintendo and Capcom aren't going to remaster 3U, 4U, and put them on the new consoles. Like, if they were going to start porting old games over just because the servers went down, they're going to start doing like Pokemon and huge fucking franchises, not the the 1,000 people that are going to play Monster Hunter Online.
Mm-hmm.
But we are getting Stories remake, which I thought was incredibly unexpected. I thought they were going to do that when Stories 2 came out, like in the before it came out, they're going to do that, and so people can get familiar with the franchise. But they're doing it now, which feels super weird. I don't know.
Looking at the commercial, I feel like the I don't know if it's like the aspect ratio or if it's like the resolution or something, but I got a door over here on me.
Coming.
Yeah, come to me.
It looks odd, doesn't it?
It does. And I feel like unless it's gonna like rescale somehow on the Switch, I'm gonna drop a airstrike below you. Just come down to me.
Okay, I'm coming. I mean, obviously they have to port it up from a 3DS game, so that's gonna have its own issues. But it does look a little weird in the aspect ratio. Did you play Stories at all?
I did.
Did you like it?
It was like, for the time, yeah, but I think that was also right around 4U, right? Or was it near Gen?
It was around Gen.
Out? Okay, because I think it was one of those like, oh, this is a fun Monster Hunter game to hold us over, but then there was a real Monster Hunter game to play at the time, so all focus went to that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I actually really liked the first Stories. I thought it was better than Stories 2. Stories 2, I thought
it looked like there was more story elements in Stories that weren't explored stateside, but we're in Japan. Or do you know if we're getting like any of that expansion content?
I don't know, because yes, they did have more content. I mean, obviously that's most of them do. So I don't know if they're going to be doing that, but
I mean, if we're just getting Stories again, other than having it on the Switch and something to maybe play on the fly, like out of boredom, like what's the real return value there if there's not new content to kind of absolve?
I think the one thing that people want, it was a lot of people didn't play Stories 1, and they did play Stories 2. Just
you have a shield generator pack?
No, I got a rover pack.
Okay, I was gonna say I can drop one for you if you want.
No, I'm cool. I think
you're cool, like cool kid or cool.
Yeah, like I'm a cool kid.
Okay, gotcha.
So I think a lot of people actually want to play Stories 1 because they hadn't, and they only played Stories 2. And because Stories 1 had the thing where you can actually make your own element monsters. So you can have like a water Rathalos and like an ice genetics. Yeah, you can change your genes of your stuff. And there was a lot of cut content from Stories 2 that never made it into Stories 2 that was already in Stories 1. And I think a lot of people want to experience that. Sorry, I didn't catch that. What'd you last say?
I'm getting the computer going. You want to pull up the tabs down there?
Oh, yeah, I think this other guy's got it.
I see CBM. Is he doing it? Okay, he's doing it.
I'm working on it. All right. Okay. But yeah, so I mean, I really like Stories 1. I don't know how many people are gonna, get into it, just because it's such a weird time to get into Stories. Like, I don't know. because they also people that have wanted to play it have had all the opportunity to, with it being on the phone and the 3DS and emulators. So I don't know how
think
much
it's a
it's going to
small
sell.
audience there, to be honest, but
Yeah, but honestly, I'm probably going to play it again because it's been a long time, and I really like Stories 1 more than Stories 2. So,
bro, I'm too hooked on this shit to like try to
well,
be like,
I
I want
figured
to play a family-friendly game of tic-tac-toe with monsties.
it's more like rock
Not,
paper scissors.
yeah, true,
No,
true.
I get that. That's fine. I mean, I don't expect you or, like I said, most people to even play. It's just it's
I
weird
mean,
that.
go ahead.
Oh, say it's just it's weird timing, and I don't think the people that want to play it haven't played it already.
Right.
So,
I guess my tone comes across as maybe more negative naysaying about it, but it's one of those things where you got to finish the ICBM launch.
yeah, working on it.
It's one of those things where, am I excited about it? Am I going to buy it? Am I going to play it? Yeah, I will. It's Monster Hunter. I through and through love Monster Hunter. That be known first and last. But at the same time, is it kind of a little too little, too late? It kind of feels that way to me, just because they could have, I guess, moved on this game a long time ago, and they didn't.
Right.
And if this is like their, hey, let's test the water. It's like, wouldn't you pick a game that has a higher metric score, a higher, customer retainment, a higher interactive, all those factors? Wouldn't that be more important? So I mean, like, I feel like of the bunch you can take from the 3DS era, like those games, there's better choices. There's better choices there that
Right.
I think
for you and for you.
exactly.
Yeah. I agree with you 100% there. So other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot more going on in the Monster Hunter scene. Just drama farming. So, and that's basically where it's at. And so what else have we been doing? Before Helldivers, we were playing survival
You got into
games.
Pal World, and I think
then
I started playing Enshrouded.
Yeah.
Now,
So, are you
those are
still
the
playing
other-
Enshrouded, or are you kind of done with that?
I haven't really touched that shit. Honestly, I kind of blame my brother for ruining it for me. We got in a server that had like everything unlocked, so we're just messing around with all these weapons and stuff.
It's like playing on creative mode. Then you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it's like, what am I doing with my life? I have everything.
Yeah, I get that. So what was the hook for Enshrouded?
It's a new game.
That was it.
like that's sometimes that's enough.
I mean, I guess, but it's
Okay,
just like,
I'd
there's
like
so
to
many
cross-hear
survival
you.
games. Like,
This other guy is like just laying down cover fire and trapping me against a wall.
I was gonna go clear out a base.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
We got all those secondary objectives down in the same corner, so
Oh, yeah. We should go do
mushroom, CF,
those. It's all there.
upload.
Let's get that stuff done.
Yeah,
But yeah,
didn't
so
realize anyway.
you were just playing Enshrouded just to play Enshrouded?
I mean, everybody else is playing it.
No,
and I hate
everyone
to-
was
I hate
playing
to-
Power World.
I hate. Well, it was one or the other. I think you were either in one camp or the other. Let's be honest.
True.
So it's like
Ranger
you got your
Command?
friends that are.
Orbital laser. Sorry.
I don't want to interrupt your ship call.
No. Oh shit.
Ship
so-
command's gonna be like, what? What? I can't hear you.
No, yeah, you're talking's not gonna mess my voice commands. It's
Nah,
alright.
you're good.
Oh god, I am surrounded. I'm dead. Oh, I'm not dead. I
Run.
don't know how I'm not dead, but not dead. Anyway, so yeah, I was playing Power World for a long time. Obviously, everyone and their fucking mother has been playing Power World. And the funny part about it is, like, I mentioned it in like my review and stuff, but it's like Power World's not even a good game. Like, I think it's just what people wanted from a Pokemon game.
Pokemon Getcha.
Yeah, it's basically it's Arc with Pokemon, but it's like it's so bad, and like not that like it's a bad game. Like obviously everyone loves it. I put 100-something hours into it. It's a fun game. It's a fun game, but it's just it's incomplete and like nothing works in that game. It's all so bare bones, and it's funny how popular and like how much people love it when it's such an obviously like incomplete game. And that's one of those things that people complain about, like, oh, people are tired about all these early access titles or games that aren't coming out completed. And that's exactly what Power World was, but nobody seemed to care because I think it's just like it's such a failure on Game Freak and the Pokemon franchise because this is just it's so easy to give people what they want. You don't have to give them a complete game, which is obvious with how all the Pokemon games have been going lately. But I just think it's funny that like the bar for success is so low that something like Power World, which is like 90% of it is reused content from other games and fake, and it's still sold. I think they're up to like 25 million users or something, even though I know some of that's
Is this the this is the segue that when we had previously recorded, I was saying that like we're in a weird place in gaming, basically, where we're finally getting these games that are kind of a hodgepodge of everything, but really nothing themselves. And then I think Asmund, being Asmund, and all things that we like and are interested in, weighs in. So we have to like combat that, either their yay or nay of those opinions that come from his core audience,
right?
Which makes up more gamers than I think what we know in Monster Hunter.
I think his audience alone is probably larger than all of the Monster Hunter like fan base.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So it used to be that we'd argue amongst each other, but now we're just using Asmund as the metric of measurement. It's like, well, depending on his audience's reaction, we have a reaction of our own.
I mean, I guess that's also just because, you know, where there's not a vocal majority of Monster Hunter players. There's really not.
Bro, these guys are just lighting me up every time they're going to shoot.
Dude, they killed me like 3 times. Also, I'm getting, like, yeah, I'm fucked over here. Oh, God. Crap.
I'm gonna run through the rest of the dirt and get the mushroom.
Mushroom?
Yeah, big mushroom that's causing all this dust storm.
Oh, alright, hang on.
Oh. I don't know if
Ranger
I think
command?
you guys are closer to the CF.
Orbital barrage. Sorry. Alright, so anyway, yeah, I thought Power World's success was also really funny just because of the way the gaming industry is these days. And I don't think a lot of people are playing it. I mean, oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people are playing it, but I don't think a lot of people are actively playing it because, again, it's one of those like early access games where, you know, people played it for like a month, and then now I'm seeing the player base kind of dropped off pretty significantly. Like, it's still high, but it's about a third of what it was just a couple weeks ago, which I think is kind of telling to how much content there actually is in the game.
Right. I mean, there's no story in it, right?
No. It's literally just, it's the same map with the same, like, couple gym battles, like.
So, like, yeah, Ark has this, like, world of biomes, and once you've kind of explored it, that's it?
That's basic. Yeah, it's 100% that.
Each region?
Yeah. So, I don't know. I didn't think there was going to be a ton of content there, just because, you know, the nature of it being a survival game, which I don't think a lot of people were expecting.
We can exfil, or take out this other big nest and get out of here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was right over there, but I'm getting chased, so I'm wrapping around. I'm looking for ammo. I want to see Power World, like, obviously do better and get bigger updates, because I feel like if they actually put in the effort with now that they have God knows how much money.
I mean, they've got the bones, is what, essentially, yes?
I want to say yes, but I think that's all being generous. Like, they have the idea, but like I said, like, because everything in the game doesn't work, it's hard to see, like...
They've got cartilage shapes.
Yeah, like, because they have to do so much to change so much about the game to make it, like, as good as I think people want it to be. I don't think it's going to happen.
A lot of bugs.
Yeah, there's a lot of bugs is what's happening. I don't know. So I wanted to talk about Power World a bit just because it's such a weird case in the gaming industry right now where everyone seems to either absolutely love it or hate it. And, I mean, I get it. I do. I don't know why so many people loved it because it's so obviously broken. Like, that's such a big issue these days that people just seem to gloss right over it.
I mean, you've seen the side-by-side comparisons, though, where they show, like, Pokemon and they show...
Yeah,
they show Power World, and Power World looks like a more developed game visually at first than Pokemon. Though I'd probably say Pokemon, at its core, it's had decades now to refine its formula. So that in itself should be a meteor game.
Well, I think that's the issue with Pokemon is that they have their formula and they're not willing to branch out to do. Oh
We
fuck!
got a
I got
Bile
killed by a Bile Titan. Yeah, he just stabbed me. Pokemon's not willing to branch out to do the different things that Power World obviously will. With like, hey, it's a survival game. Hey, you can actually
see if you can drop
hurt
on 'em.
your pals. Okay, I'll try. Like it's such a different case that I think people. Oh, did I get him? I don't know if I got him. No, we did not. Oh my god, I literally just dropped into like everything else though. I'm dead. Yeah, it's hard to talk and play at the same time. It really is. So you haven't played Power World though, right?
Bought it. I haven't touched it.
Why? Just this came out or what?
Well, I mean, I've been waiting on this game for years, to be honest, but I think
Did you play the
I was
first Helldivers?
yeah, I have a decent amount. I wouldn't call myself like the end all be all, end game diver, but I definitely put in my time. I served.
All right. Need to get out of here.
We're talking about Power. I guess maybe I'll take the reins while you get yourself re-equipped and
Yeah, no,
establish your
I'm
bearings.
okay. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So I think like Power World's mostly had more attention brought to it than usual because once again, Asmund and his remarks about AI generated content and how as long as there's a want or a need for something and if AI is able to facilitate it, people don't really care. So it's not looking at it from like the touchy-feely artist kind of perspective. And I say that having gone to school for art. So I mean, even I don't think what he said was wrong, or just kind of like over a basic recap is just that.
Fuck! How?
Oh my gosh, what are we doing?
I went to go grab samples, and dude, that fucking
calling-
vial slows people down, and I just got swarmed. You want to reinforce
Don't
me
turn
onto that
around.
vial
Don't
Titan?
turn around. Oh my gosh. Yeah, here we go. That didn't hit anything.
He was walking away from me. I don't know.
I mean, I got nothing to
Got
drop
him.
him.
Well, I landed on him. He didn't die.
He's still alive.
Ranger command. Orbital laser.
You've been holding on to the laser this whole time?
Well, I haven't been over here. I just spawned. Okay, he's down.
The laser almost cut me in half. That was fun.
Anyway, so we talked about Power World. We did the Power World thing. Like, obviously, crazy game. AI and it being just like a controversy, I think, gave it a lot more popularity than.
Yeah, for sure. I think Asmund controversy, and then on top of it, a alternative to Pokemon.
I think that's honestly
really
the
what
biggest
people
thing.
want. Yeah,
It's
it's like everybody wants a Pokemon game that's not Pokemon.
Yeah, because Pokemon hasn't done anything. Oh god, Bile Titan.
Oh.
Pokemon hasn't done anything in so long. Oh shit. Oh god.
How many chargers are here? Hello?
Sorry, this stupid fucking poison goo is slowing you down, and I hate it.
There's madness in here.
Yeah, it is. Picked up my railgun though. Oh, what
I'm
the
doing that
fuck?
part.
Oh, fucking Bile Titan. Oh my god. Okay, so Helldivers, because this is what we really wanted to talk about today. Because obviously,
Right, this game
playing.
is crazy.
This
Bird's
game
coming in.
is just—it's so insane. Oh, can I get in on the Bile Titan? No, I don't even.
Land
see
on it.
I don't know where they threw me, but it was not near the Titan. So yeah, this game is just—it's nutty. It's wild. It's stressful. It's a game, is what it is, and
It's
it's
been a
just one
long
of those,
time since we've had a good multiplayer, and I think that's really where this game hooks you.
Yeah, well, and that in a live
In the
service
bird
game.
land? Yeah. I mean,
And-
it's live service, but not in the conventional sense of the live service, at least not yet. So
No.
it's not hitting the same marks, for sure.
I think one of the big selling factors of it being a decent live service game is the fact that you can earn literally everything through just standard play. Like, I haven't spent any money on this game, and I own everything in the cash shop and the battle pass.
You've gotten
So,
all like 5 or 6 runs so far.
yeah. Well, now that they've looped back around the
5 or
cash
6
shop,
weeklies. Yeah.
yeah, the cash shop looped back around. I'm caught up. So
Oh, because you missed out on those first couple weeks when I was playing and you weren't.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't have a whole lot of leftover super credits. I got like 100 and something, or maybe I'm at like 400 now. But yeah, I mean, I bought pretty much everything, and so I think that's been a
Everything
really
you
good
wanted,
sign.
more or less.
Yeah, everything I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, the armor designs are pretty cool. Not that we need to like go into depth about that, but I'm definitely enjoying the visual aesthetic of being a Helldiver and how they're treating it.
Yeah, I have like that the California NCR Ranger like helmet, but there's no armor to go with that yet. I'm waiting for that.
I mean, there's a couple that I think might match with it, but that's my you know, everybody's taste is different, so
Yeah, I'm looking for something that's like it's black armor, but I'll need it not with like the yellow.
watch out, Nade. Huh?
Watch out, Nate, and that guy just dies.
That's all right. They deserve it. They've been shooting over me and my shield all the whole time.
Oh my god, I can't get in here to get these samples. Okay, I got them. Alright, ready to go?
We're all here. Yep.
Okay.
And the bird, and the bird,
But
and
yeah,
the bird.
so Helldivers has been just a blast. Yes, it had a rocky start. The last couple weeks and weekends,
I mean, it's still been
play.
fairly rocky up to this point. I mean, they're working stuff out.
Yeah.
There's definitely some people that are being more disparaged than others by their servers and how they handle it. But yeah.
But that hasn't
myself not
tainted-
being one of them. My brothers though, they've experienced a plethora of problems with this game. So
but I like to see that even though that's the case, yes, it's got a lot of issues. The overall community has been very receptive towards the changes and the updates and getting the
when
game.
you get the CF gun up,
What?
the CF gun, I didn't get that up.
Oh no, I didn't.
Or maybe is that just a visual bug?
No, we didn't.
Oh, wow, that was your job, man.
Oh well, I was not on that side of the map.
Okay.
But I think that the community's been really positive towards the game, even in its current state. Like, it's definitely better today after they did like the recent patch. But it does have a lot of work it still needs to do. Like, we crash and have like all sorts of like weird bugs and like issues. Still.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect game for sure. Has it been handled the best? That's debatable. I think that they've been pretty transparent and very active with their patches.
Yeah.
As opposed to other games, you know, like that I like Destiny, that have, you know, years, almost decades now of time frame that they've just been dropping the ball. But
right.
We don't need to talk about that.
Didn't Destiny get to the point where they were just expecting to under-deliver or fail? And like, I think they came out like one of their like this week at Bungie things where they were just like, it was just so doom and gloom.
Now they're twids.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think the Destiny community just really fell off, but I think this is a great time for Helldivers, is because I think a lot of the people went from Destiny to Helldivers because people want that shooty cooperative experience. Kind of, I wouldn't say people want live service games, but you know,
the game really brandishes that like Xbox 360, PS3 kind of era of multiplayer where it's just you drop in, you kill some stuff, you leave. It's not a whole lot attached to it. There's not a lot of story there.
Right, it's just
There's
fun.
Not,
like,
yeah, it's just a game
there's no
to have
commitment.
fun.
You don't have to like go through a storyline or.
I mean, Malevolent Creek. That's some commitment.
Well, it's narrative based on the community. Like everyone, I love going to like the Reddits and watching like other videos of stuff of people narrating their experiences on different planets and stuff, because it's so funny that everyone's so attached to it, like in real time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It is unfolding. It is our great war of our generation.
So far, I think the community aspect of this game has been like my favorite part about it, because It's simple. The game is simple. You go in, you kill stuff, you do your objectives, you get out. That is the entire game. But it's the friendships and the narratives that you build along the way that really carry it. And the combat is so good, especially with how the game looks. It feels
the gameplay is good. The gameplay loop is pretty solid. There is some procedural generation from planet to planet, but every planet kind of, so like, I don't know if you hold the same feelings that I do when it comes to cinema, but when I think about like older movies that were made in the 70s, 80s, even some in the 90s, like sometimes the music or sometimes the scenery or sometimes there was other characters that were like non-tangible characters. Like it wasn't just about the actors, it was about the world. And I think that, you know, for games, the way that is usually portrayed is they spend a lot of time building into like the lore of the world and all the design of the level, things of that sort. I think this game captures it for having a very simple formula. And an amazing execution on that. So, I mean, every run feels unique or different. You're having different experiences. Even the same fights don't feel like the same fights because they're not the same fights, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does, because it's never the same. Different terrain, different lighting, different amount of enemies, different everything. But I was gonna say
I
that,
didn't
like,
touch my guns. Fuck.
oh, sorry.
It's all right.
The game to me just it feels so much like, I would say, how do you say like a movie? Like there's so many
Cinematic.
picturesque scenes that like you just think like you'll never get this in another game kind of thing.
How did we miss 2 full runs on him?
I don't know. Like this game captures like something that other games just haven't, which is just
Like a primal needing to destroy the bug and defeat the bot, liberating and all of us.
well, I mean, who doesn't like to liberate the galaxy, right? Come on, like
freedom and justice.
yeah, freedom and
democracy.
justice. That's a timeless classic. But it's just like the importance they put on your one little expendable soldier, and you fighting like this insurmountable odds and forces, and just being able to like squeak out those wins barely, and with like these little combat maneuvers that you can do, just it's so picturesque that you can't get in other games. You don't get that same feeling anywhere else. Like,
I think you should make videos on gunplay for this game. Just saying.
I kind of do. I just
like builds.
I don't like to make videos on games until I'm very well versed in them, like where I understand everything. Because I don't like to give out misinformation at all, and I feel like I don't know quite enough about the game to do that yet. But I might. We'll see.
They've got an official Discord, and they've definitely been pretty candid with their responses as far as like what's what, what's working, what isn't. So, I mean, I know that there's a bunch of you need this build, and you know, devs hate it, but you know, Helldivers love it kind of mockery. But I definitely think that there's quite a bit of information out there that they just don't tell you. I think that's another thing too about this game is that there's not a lot of hand holding. It's very much here's the basics, here you go. Like even the intro of the game is I don't know, if you haven't played the original Helldivers, then you kind of get the same experience in this Helldivers Mushroom Down.
Well, and that was where my distaste for the game was originally, was like I did not play the first Helldivers, and I didn't know anything about the game. So after doing the tutorial and then jumping into like a mission, I was so fucking lost, and I wasn't enjoying it. And then
you're pretty grouchy about it.
When you Sherpa'd me into just explaining like, hey, this is how the mission structure works, and this is what we need to be doing, I'm like, got it.
Well, goal focused, orient.
Yeah, so I can see a lot of people not liking the game just because they don't know what the fuck is happening.
It really does shine as, I think, as a multiplayer game, and to take it further than that, I know that people don't really use the phrasing couch co-op anymore, but I think that there's an experience that's captured in this series, like just if you're open to it. Does that make sense? Like if you're allowing yourself to be open to it, like you can definitely have a better experience.
Yeah, like that couch co-op experience that you don't get anymore because that's just not a thing. The gaming industry does not like people sharing games.
And then I mean, like just the nature of consoles and where PC gaming is and stuff, and we're just more intertwined in life with people from afar, that it's just easier to do this stuff. So I mean, obviously couch co-op will never be what it was, not that it needs to be what it was. It's just that this game gives me a lot of those tones, if that makes sense, like when I get to play with my friends or my brothers.
Right, yeah, because it's also as crazy and hectic and stressful as it is, it's still just a goofy game. Like, there's so many just comedic moments from how the ragdoll physics work and how, like, just hectic the game becomes. It gets funny at times.
I ain't gonna hit him at all.
Okay, I don't think anyone's around me to help, huh?
No, you gotta reinforce these guys.
Oh, shit. Are you not reinforcing them?
No?
No, why are you asking me to do it?
Because you're over there needing help and I'm not.
I mean, I guess. But I don't know. I don't want all of them with me. They kill me.
Exactly.
I can't resupply.
I don't want them all with me.
Or not resupply, reinforce. Like, oh, someone else got them. That's why. I don't know what else to really talk about as far as this game goes.
As far as like Helldivers go, I mean, like without going into like a full deep dive of.
I mean, we can. We're here.
I mean, we talked a little bit about the planets. I mean, the gunplay is solid. Multiplayer aspect is solid. When the game's working, obviously, and you're not running into just constant connection issue or game bugginess, I think the game is amazing for what it is. If we really had to like talk about more about it, I think that what I was trying to say earlier is that there's a lot of hidden qualities to the game as far as the non-handholding goes. The game doesn't just outright tell you that you can change your fire mode or you can turn on and off your flashlight, or you know, the radius of what some of your stratagems and call-downs are. So I think learning all of those things is very much a part of the progression of the game.
Right,
that you experience. And and then where that like kind of couples with that co-op or is just sharing your war stories with your brothers in arms, like whether that be your friends that you're playing with or just randoms.
That's the fun part, man. Sharing war stories. Yeah. Oh, it just feels good. Oh, speaking of feeling good, gunplay, because that's something that I get really into, of how guns feel. I think the aiming in this game is, I don't know how the aiming was in the first Helldivers, being that it was a top down, but the aiming
top down. Yep.
I was gonna say the aiming reticle and how it reacts to your character movement I think is very intuitive, even though it looks kind of janky. I find myself being able to like aim with this wacky reticle just because I can kind of tell where my guy's gonna be aiming depending on how I'm moving. And I don't know, I really like it. It's a unique reticle that we haven't seen in other games, and I like how realistic it looks and feels.
The first game mostly had a gimmick that was based around. So the first game was a PS4 game and PC. The second game is PS5 and PC. The first one was a top-down, not a full-blown isometric, but there's a style of shooter that's from top-down, where if you're using thumbsticks, the direction you're pointing is the direction you'll fire in. And
twin-stick shooters.
So it could be a little weird to deal with. That was, I think, like the main draw for the first game was just that experience. Oh my goodness, I'm getting messed up.
And so, totally not this game. Like, very different, obviously.
It was a very different game. I mean, did it have the same stylings and sentiment and execution? Sure, but I don't know. If you were to take this game and make an RPG, turn it into an RPG, it would be a very different game than what this game is. You know what I mean? Like, if you spend all your time just taking quests and talking to people, then sure, it's not the same game. Looks like somebody dropped sample over there.
How have you felt the controls and movement and gunfire has been?
For me on controller?
Yeah. So I'm playing mouse and keyboard. You're playing on...
I love it. So I mean, I guess I'm the filthy heathen for using controllers with PC games, but I like it. It's enjoyable. I grew up on consoles myself, so I find it more natural. And I did not mean to throw that. That's gonna screw me. Cool kids don't look at explosions.
We got the CF online, and it's all high explosives and napalm, so it's good to go.
Nice. Probably save that for Biles, if and when they show.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, so I didn't know how the controller... I mean, a lot of people play PC games on controller. I just wasn't sure how it felt on playing with controller.
It feels very natural. Like, it doesn't... The commands, the way that they're structured, like, I guess a good example would be, like, Monster Hunter on PC with mouse and keyboard, and, like, that felt fucking alien for me. And just
playing Melee, it does, for sure.
Yeah. I've got a door on me, but...
where are you?
Here. I'll mark it.
I'm coming, yeah. No, I think mouse and keyboard Monster Hunter felt great for gunning perspective because it's just a fucking shooter until you get into Sunbreak. But,
there's definitely things that I think roller complements more with than others, but depending on the game and the playstyle. No, the D-pad for calling down, doing my DDR, the touchpad for my mini-map, your usual buttons for grenade, aiming, your R1s, L2s, that kind of stuff. It all feels very natural and fun.
Is there aim assist at all?
Not to my knowledge, no. Not any more than there is on mouse and keyboard.
I don't think there is on mouse and keyboard.
Well, if there isn't on there, then there isn't here. I mean, this isn't the... If I don't hit my target, if I'm aiming near them, it doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I have to actually pinpoint and hit them. I know there's other games that are a little bit more forgiving, where if like the reticule's in the roughly the right area, it's a contact hit, but not in this game.
All right, I got the charger coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good because mouse and keyboard controls feel really smooth. Like even just like the jumping and dodging and doing the DDR for your commands. I've been doing them since kind of talking and doing them is kind of disruptive. So, but yeah, like it's so weird how so many shooter games just feel floaty or unimpactful, if that makes sense. If you played
there's weight in this game, which is kind of a weird thing to kind of discuss, I think, at times about certain games, but some games you can feel the impact of what you're doing and some you can't. I think it's kind of magnified by the controller experience because I'm playing on a PS5 controller on a game that was made for PS5, so I do have quite a bit of like, I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. Would that be the haptic feedback? Is that what's...
Yeah, basically, yeah. So that makes sense. I was also gonna say... actually, I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say
abandoned
something.
you, by the way.
That's fine. I'm moving up to clear some nests.
Yeah. I'm hitting these POIs on the way to the next hatchery.
All right.
Gunplay.
Wait. Oh, I was gonna say a lot of games these days, especially ones that are like sci-fi and space themed, tend to, I think, abuse the fact that it's space to make everything feel so floaty and unresponsive. I think Destiny did a good job on still making like the gunplay feel impactful. I think it's one of the reasons why people still play Destiny is just because it feels good. But like,
I think people are playing Destiny more than just for the gunplay of it. I mean, the gunplay is...
What else are you fucking playing it for?
I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, I guess if you've been playing it for so long, you keep playing it for the same reasons. Like, kind of want to see how it ends, what's going on. Even though they kind of like divert away from the good story and they just put in like, it's like anime. Like you'll watch it because everybody else is watching it, or you watch it because it's cool, or you watch it because you like it. But then there's like all this filler that just kind of makes it kind of meh, and you don't really care about it. But it's still one of those things that I guess you want to go back to and see how it ends. So. I'm not saying that was a well thought out.
Well, no, but I get it because a lot of people are only playing Destiny because they've been playing for so long, and they're like, I gotta just see how it ends.
I've been playing since D1, and it's like they've had some really good expansions in there. Forsaken, Shadowkeep was pretty solid. they've had moments where the game flourishes, obviously because the story is there, the content's there, the ideas are there, and the gunplay is there. But to say that people are only there for the gunplay, it's like, well, I mean, you can go play COD. It's like
But that's an example of
I'm not saying that
games
that's
that
good
have bad
gunplay, but I mean, like
gunplay.
that's gunplay at its like core. Found another door.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are near you. Where are you?
You can
We
commit
have Bile
seppuku.
Titans.
You could Sudoku your ass and then call you over here.
I
I'll pick up
could.
your sample, right?
Maybe. Sorry, I am so focused on this stupid Bile Titan.
All right. Well, I'll just leave the door here. It's fine.
Shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's more to Destiny than just gunplay, is what I'm saying. I think that's a majority of the people who are playing Destiny. There is something there more than just being able to shoot a gun. If that's what
Well-
if that's what you're saying. If I'm understanding
Well,
what
and
you're saying.
that's what I was getting at. Yeah, is that I think people only reason they continue to play it is because it feels good to play.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's at this point, it's kind of an
that's the same
obligation.
thing as like
but
Monster Hunter. It's like you're just doing the same thing you've always
you
done.
only play Monster Hunter because you like weapon play, and it's like, but there's like 14 weapons, and there's different ways to play, and there's different things to get from it.
But
And are you
it's just 'cause
ultimately
it
doing the
feels good to
same
play.
thing? Yeah, I mean, but that's different, way different game. There's a different side of people I think that come out to FPS games than there is to, say, like a Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, most of the content creators for Monster Hunter are like whole bitches.
Oh
That's the
god.
kind of people
Oh
that-
god.
What's on your track?
I'm fucking trapped. Oh god.
No. Okay.
No, hold on. Fuck. I'm still alive. Oh god, Bile Titan. Oh, Charger. Shit. Hold on. It's okay. I'm safe. I'm safe. I can't believe I'm still alive. But I don't know what I'll talk about. So yeah, you were saying, yeah, people don't just play in, just because of the gameplay. Same for like Monster Hunter, different crowd. Shooter people and Monster Hunter people are very different. Which is true. Which is true. But I don't know. So like for Helldivers, what's keeping you from playing? Because you've unlocked everything. So what's keeping you playing?
I
You're
don't know.
not attached to
like,
a story. You're
I like the uniqueness of the gameplay. It's exciting. It's quick. I mean, this is a game that you can essentially pick up and put down if you want. Whereas with like a Destiny, like I got to do the weekly mission. I got to do this other weekly mission. And I got to run all this
Technically,
content.
we have that in this.
And I've got to do my like my challenges. And if I don't do it within this time frame, I don't get that gun.
I mean,
that doesn't really.
This
And
here.
it doesn't really exist here though. It's not.
But
I'm not on the
but-
same level.
No, because there's like one weekly or whatever for the entire community, and then like the
Well, yeah, I mean, there's
daily.
your major orders and there's your personal orders. And your personal orders originally I thought were supposed to be on like a 6-hour rotator, but it seems like we kind of get them intermittent, where some days we have a couple of them and other days we have none of them.
yeah.
So, I mean,
it's like
I haven't
2-day
seen personal
cooldown.
orders in like the last like 2 days.
Yeah.
The market has essentially 4 items in it: 2 helmets, 2 bodies. And that's on a more or less 2-day rotator. I don't feel the same impact that like with like Destiny, where it's like, oh, you didn't log in this week, you didn't get that thing that was available, and it's like, well, fuck, and it's like,
That
oh, you
FOMO.
didn't. Yeah, exactly, the FOMO. So like, the idea is that, at least from what's been written journalistically about in gaming for this game, it seems like this game is very kosher and friendly to the idea of just like, it's not that big of a deal, like it's gonna be here, it's not gonna go away. Like, I think once they come out with new war bonds, so like basically your war bond, I don't even want to call it a season pass because I don't feel like it is a season pass.
Well,
So your
because it's not going away after a season. It's
exactly
here forever.
So like, I mean, it's like we need like new language to kind of discuss this game, to like new ways of looking at the same gaming language. I think, where the war bond is essentially your progression map, and if you want to unlock these guns, you gotta do X amount of missions for the medals. I think that the way that they handle the resources in this are good all the way up until end game, and by that I mean that. So if I go out on a mission, I find samples, they come back, they have their own facility that the samples go to. So samples are used for essentially upgrading my ship, which give me better debuffs or cooldowns. The requisition that we get from doing and playing the game, that goes towards getting the stratagems, which are my abilities. The medals that we earn after each run that we can find in game, that goes towards purchasing the cosmetics like my armor, my helmet, my guns, my capes, my backgrounds, things of that sort. Like, I like the way that it's not so convoluted, and each system doesn't also use the same currency. Like, that's kind of like things that you would run into, I guess, in like Destiny, where it's like, I need X amount of shards to like re-roll this gun, and I need X amount of shards to buy that armor this week, and I need X amount of shards to do this thing. And they just stagger you with a very slow economy on acquiring those resources half the time, unless maybe there's like a buggy week and somebody discovers
and then it gets
a way to cheat the system. And then it gets nerfed, and then it's like one of those like, oh, you weren't there when we did all this buggy shit and broke the game, and I have 1 billion shards and you have, your original 200.
Yeah.
So the game definitely, it's not a game that you can compare to other games right now. Like, it's standing alone on its own. Yeah, it's just it's handled very differently from a marketing standpoint. And I understand that you can't really compare, apples to guava, or whatever you really want to call it, like, because they're not even in the same food group. It's a different experience, a different company.
Yeah. I agree.
Go lay down.
I agree. It's
I see you. Go lay down.
It's different. I think that's also why this is like Power World, I've gotten not unsurprising, very surprising success, because they're both very low. I wouldn't say low budget, but they're small studio games that just blew up well beyond what everyone was expecting them to.
Yeah, I think that it's not a red flag, but it's where I guess there's some negatives to talk about Helldivers right now, is just that they've already admitted they weren't expecting the success that they were having, because they weren't. Oh, these guys are gonna freaking kill me again. Good thing I have this shield.
Right,
my own
because they weren't ready for this, that they really dropped the ball on.
So every time that they raise the server cap, basically they hit like a new milestone high. And I know that at some point it's going to balance out. And is that going to be because some people were turned away and turned off to the game not being functional when it should have been? Yes. At the same time, you can't just like buy X amount of server space and just hope that that's going to work and that's good enough. They seem like they've been communicating pretty well about what they're doing, what they plan to do, what they're aware of, actively patching the game. Those are all good signs, especially when we're, kind of in a world of give me now, and we need it's like crowdfunded, or this is a early access game, so they're not quite AAA, but you would think with like Sony money backing them on this project that they would handle their situation a little bit faster or cleaner.
Well, I think they are now, and that's why they're picking up speed. I think Sony, or someone had said that Sony's actually supporting them with devs to help work with them on, getting this game up.
Server maintenance, server setup, server building.
Which would be great. I mean, I would love to see, like Power World, I want to see these games do well. Because they've shown that, hey, you don't have to have the same cookie cutter Call of Duty, Black Flag, Skull and Bones bullshit. Like, I'm
pretty disappointed with Skull and Bones. They were really selling that game like it was going to be a new Sea of Thieves, but with better graphics visually, and that's very much not what that is.
Yeah, like, well, from what I've seen from it,
Crash. We got the bile here.
Okay, I've just seen that nothing but bad things about it. Like, it's just like a nothing game.
It kind of reminds me of when I see footage on it. It reminds me of that World of Tanks, World of Battleships kind of
Oh,
approach to
yeah.
games where I guess there's not really a whole lot of substance there. Like maybe there's arbitrary facts and information about like, you know, this destroyer blah 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 class and Pearl Harbor's sinking. It's like, okay, well that's great, but you know, what do I get to do? It's like, oh, you can buy your upgrades and that means that your guns shoot faster or your radar's better. It's like it just kind of has like a mobile gaming quality to me that is just staggered by a budget, really, is what that comes down to.
Well, but didn't not Black Flag, Skull and Bones have like a huge budget? Like, wasn't it in development for like 10 years or something?
I think it's Ubisoft, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Ubisoft game. Who did Black Flag 10 years ago?
I don't know. I think we're reaching a pinnacle in the era of gaming where there's just constant mismanagement of resources, of personnel. I mean, it's not just in the people being let go and companies. I don't know. I guess that's a whole different discussion for a different kind of podcast that we're not. And also probably
we're gonna need to do a lot of research.
More intelligent than me, for sure.
We're gonna need a lot of info to go for that one. But no, but I think you're right. It's just like it's so weird that it's the same for like Hollywood and stuff, where we have all these giant movies,
the
and
movie
giant
industry.
Yeah, we're spending.
Yeah, I know more about the
$300
cinema
million,
industry than.
But it's the same. It's the exact same as the gaming industry. We're spending $200 to $300 million for these big budget titles, and they're doing poorly. And then someone else like fucking Godzilla comes around with 1/10, 1/15 of the budget and blows it out of the water. Same for these like AA studios. It's the same.
Or
shit.
like they invest like 10 million and they're expecting to make like 100 million, and that's the kind of return that they qualify as success or as succeeding. And when that doesn't happen, then they just go through and start terming other people out because they got to pay off their partners, they got to pay off the board, they got to pay off all these.
Yeah.
It's not just about the overhead, but it becomes about just we only invested so that we could get a higher payout, and we didn't get our higher payout, so it's not successful. And then that's where you see people being moved around. I just don't think that kind of ideology is going to last much longer in our society. I would like to believe and hope that it won't. But
would be nice. Well, you think with all these,
then we'd see that reflected in like housing and other things too.
Yeah. But with all the terrible flops of like both movie and game, you'd think that people would start taking notice, but. I don't know. Maybe in like 3 or 4 years, we'll start seeing a shift because obviously plans are already
our
in motion
generation,
for so much.
Or not necessarily our generation, but the following generation, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think sooner than that. I think within.
We're all doomed.
Yeah, if we last, right?
We're all fucked.
I don't know. I'd like to see some significant change soon. I think people are getting the idea. I just think there's too many plans already in place to see any changes like short term.
Yeah, I don't know. They're definitely making these games. They're not putting the right effort in, but they're still expecting the same payout out.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to.
I mean, I don't know. Like you look back 10 years ago on Steam, and I feel like obviously it started before that, but that was around for me. Like that was the identity of like the crowdfunded games or these games that were not AAA. And there was so much hope for these games, and then we started seeing like people just kind of create a project just to net money and then just walk away from it. And I feel like AAA games maybe weren't still the best at the time. Like there's always been that roller coaster of interaction as far as coming from the major producers or manufacturers of certain titles and series, but. I feel like this game is stressing me out, so I'm talking faster than I probably should be. I'm not really thinking out my thoughts as much as I could be. Like I could be using a different vocabulary here, but
did you change your weapon?
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Fuck me.
No, you can do that. I'll give you time to calm
that'll
down.
save me loads of trouble.
And then I can talk. So because I wanted to mention something that then I got blindsided with Helldivers. What the fuck was I gonna say though? What were we just talking about before I asked you to change your gun?
I was talking about the GoFundMe, the early access, the undeveloped non-AAA titles, and then leading into AAA titles and how they're gradually dropping the ball. I'm not to say that there hasn't been successes in the last decade.
No, but they have been dropping the ball. But I was gonna say, I think my favorite time for like the AAA scene was around the PS3, Xbox 360 era, like
Hmm.
2007 to 2012. I think somewhere 2005 to 2012, somewhere around there. I think a lot of good games have come out. I don't think there's a whole like we just started getting into like the whole like really shitty aggressive microtransactions and battle pass filled games. Like that didn't start until shortly after
It's
that.
it's been way more common in these last couple of years. I think like
The last
and
decade has been rough.
yeah, I mean like there's certain names that come to mind. Like there's definitely like the EAs of treatment about things. We've definitely seen Bungie jump through the hoops with a couple different partners as far as like other people that are controlling things. So like Activision, Bungie by themselves, now Sony. Um, you've seen the losses in the game creation space where these companies are downsizing, but not in the ways that they should be. Like it's almost kind of like, oh, we made a bad product. Sorry, we were expecting to be successful. We weren't, so now we're going to fire
And
all
so
these people.
we fire all the
Yeah.
people, and then at the same time, all the management is still there who made all the decisions and greenlit
Mhm.
everything.
It's like all the people that are actually that are on that board and receiving that money, or maybe that's not even an accurate depiction of that either. It could be. What do we know? I don't know. I only went to school to make games. I didn't actually end up getting in the field to make them, so I haven't made them. But I can tell you by as a bystander looking, from the outside in, with that knowledge, it's definitely not what was sold to me when I was pursuing that education of like what the industry was supposed to be or what the industry represented, or the interest of those parties. I think by the time that I was done with my education, most of those that were kind of working with the schools had pulled out because they weren't even honoring what they were saying they were going to do, kind of stuff.
Oh,
So it's like
really?
there was already signs that like that system was failing when I was still going to school for it.
That's not good.
Yeah.
When did you go
I
to
mean,
school? Oh fuck! There's a charger who
uh,
just went through all of our fucking mortars.
This is like 2010 through maybe say 2014 area time frame. That's
Okay,
like when I
so-
was in college.
Okay, so right after I got out of high school. Oh my god, these fucking turrets are useless. We lost all of our turrets. Nice rock.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we had like promises from like a lot of the companies that worked with and partnered. What the hell is throwing me? That worked with COD, so like Treyarch and Black Hammer and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's different story, different time.
I mean, we're still here. We could still talk about it unless you want to focus on the game. We can stop the podcast there. I think we touched on everything we just kind of wanted to talk about. Obviously, we're super addicted to Helldivers, and we're going to keep playing it. And
I think there's room to make content for this game for sure. And I think you're more
Yeah.
adept at doing that. But I mean, I might throw my hat in just for shits and giggles for fun.
I
for
mean, I
freedom.
definitely want to make some videos for this. I feel like I don't have enough to contribute right now. Because again, I like to make like informative videos and help people and teach. But like, I'm still a fucking scrub at this game. I am gonna do a video on setting up my voice commands and showing people how to play with voice commands and stuff like that. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Better knowledge.
Yeah. But then after that, I don't really know what I want to do. But I just hope this game keeps ramping out the content and giving us more stuff to do because I don't want to have a reason to stop.
I
Because
think
it's such a good game to like play a couple hours here and there. There's nothing tying you down.
right. So I think the future of this game really is going to be they're working on stabilizing the servers so that the way their player base can play the game and enjoy the game for what it is. Once they do that, I think the focus at that point is essentially a roadmap to tell us where we're going.
Right.
Early trailer footage showed us with mechs. There was mechs in the original Helldivers 1. There's also like train convoy missions and like civilian convoy missions. So I think that there's other things that they can add into the gameplay loop that are still going to feel fresh and new, even though they're kind of already developed in here. I don't know. I think me and my brothers have speculated about like, be cool if there was like cavern worlds or something like that, like things that just
Oh, like on Earth
Change-
Defense Force.
yeah, just kind of changed up the dynamic of what we currently have in some way that was unique enough.
Right, we did talk about that in our first run through. I want to see vehicle missions. Like I know you thought the whole vehicles would be a little much because you would
Well,
just be traveling from point to point in
right, because
vehicles.
I think the comparison was like if you play like these Skyrim, Fallout games, and it's like it's so much of that early experience of hoofing it and going from location to location and having those dynamic events unfold is what really makes the game what it is. And then by the end of the game, you're too godly and powerful, and you're just fast traveling all over the map. And you don't really need to have those experiences if you don't want them, or you're not really you're trying to like, I guess, avoid them so you can expedite what it is that you're trying to do in the game. And I think that vehicles in this game could be cool and fun, but could also be bad in the context that, you know, if I could just zip across the map and get to my objective and then out, then I guess does this become more of like kind of a speed running game, or does it become like a, you know what I mean? Like, are we welcoming those kind of people?
People we clearly don't want. No, I get that because it changes the dynamic of the game in like 100%. But I was under like thinking like not just
say those people as in like we're not those people, but
true. Nobody wants more of us. Come on, we know that. But it's like I wanted more of the idea like you just have certain missions where we have those like daily stratagems or like mission specific stratagems. I want them to bring like tanks and mechs onto specific missions where it's not a part of your generic 4 set. You have like those extra ones that you get like 1 or 2 of tops per map, and then you could do like a convoy with a train, but you have like your 4 squad in tanks trying to like blow stuff back while you're defending this train. And stuff like that. I feel like they could do like
they did that in Helldivers 1, so I think that's would be promising to see in Helldiver 2. I think we talked about the idea of new factions because there used to be an alien race, the Illuminate, in the first game. They're kind of like a StarCraft Protoss energy-based race. And then also it would be interesting if there was like a human resistance or faction. So you just have something that's not something that's not robots, but something with guns. You know what I mean? So like it creates a different gameplay experience as opposed to the bugs obviously swarm you, the robots obviously swarm you, but they're shooting at you, they're blowing you up, they're dropping mortars, there's drop shit.
Cover.
Yeah, so there's a little bit more intelligence, and I like how the game feels like a different game depending on what you're fighting. So if we had a couple more options, that could be that slice of interaction that makes the game that much more, because it feels like a whole nother game when we fight this alien race. It feels like a whole nother game when we fight against, you know, this resistance faction. I think those things would bring more life to the game overall, outside of just vehicles and stratagems, or, you know, like a planet change up or something. And maybe this is really all the game's ever going to be. And to me, that's still enjoyable enough to stick around and see. I don't feel the same investment that like there is with like, say, like a Destiny. I know it's an easy one to call back on, but like with those games you miss out on this stuff, and it really detracts from wanting to ever go back and play that game or to experience it. Whereas in, you know, I could probably play this now, play it, you know, Final Fantasy when it comes out, some other new game when it comes out, and still come back to this game and still have the same fun that I'm having now, but obviously be more knowledge and experienced about it.
Right. Yeah, I get that 100%. And that's actually one of the reasons why I like this as a live service game. And we've talked about before, the lack of FOMO, or the lack of reason to play a live service game, which seems counterintuitive, but it just means there's no pressure. Like you can come back and then hey, if you don't play for a couple months or whatever, they have a bunch of new shit, you come back and it's like a whole nother game at that point.
Yeah, the 87.4% accuracy. Nice.
Because like they've mentioned it before, like the war bonds, which is your battle pass stuff, like it's never going to go away. It's always going to be there.
While we're still streaming it, but
stuff
to look at. So we could probably still show some of that stuff since you're still recording.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
And I am doing that as I'm talking about it. Like the battle pass stuff is permanent. Like it's never going to go away. So even if like I don't buy everything in this battle pass by the time the next one comes out,
you always earn it.
Yeah, we'll just have more tabs and go back if you want to get that stuff again. So yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool. There's no reason to keep playing, as well as the same reason there's not much of a reason to stop playing. It's like you don't have to. You can just come back whenever. It's like Poe. There you go. It's like Path of Exile. Whenever they do like big content drops, you can just come back because everyone's starting from fresh. I never got into
Poe, and I've had so many arguments with Six about Poe and how like Poe turned me off with like the orbs of regret and just not understanding the sphere grid
Oh,
in that
how
game.
crafting works and how
Yeah.
well, because Poe has got like 900,000 systems, and at this point, like I love Poe, but I tell people don't bother, wait for Poe 2 because it's so impossibly hard to learn Poe and all the
Hmm.
systems and like years of League mechanics stacking on each other. It's just hard. Like you have to be like full time into Poe to really get into it. So
Yeah, I
I
think that
get it.
that is the take on live service games is that like you got to commit to one, and once you're in, you're in, and then once you're out, and it's like a
Yeah.
gang. And, you know, you got
And
to I
well,
got to
that's how
die
I
on
feel
the
about
side.
Poe. It's like because I
Yeah.
like it, but I haven't played enough that I just feel so lost because if I skip a season or
Hmm.
two, so much has changed that I just don't understand. Everyone's doing different stuff, and it's just weird. It's hard. It's hard to stay.
Yeah. Not this game. I think this game is going to have a long life ahead of it. I think the early success was a good indicator of its potential. Um, I don't necessarily think that there's always going to be like half a mil concurrent players, and that's fine. As long as they just continue to like work on things and eventually give us more information, which they, like I said, they've been pretty forthcoming so far, and I've liked the interaction that both the community as well as Arrowhead is creating and sort of nurturing, whereas then we've seen other major companies not really do that. Not saying that Monster Hunter and Capcom is one of them, but I'm not saying that it's not. Um, I think the focus is more on the experience as opposed to specifically people's opinions, and that's good. And that's great.
Okay. Yeah, I get that 100%. Yeah.
Ah,
So hopefully that stays true, and this game, you know, doesn't die off for some unknown reason. Fuck, I'm really bad at stratagem hero. Like I can do my problem is like I input buttons too fast that they don't register like the next one. So like
I feel like that's like one of my younger brother's sayings. He's just pissing excellence. He's just too good, just so good at this game that like the game is just not catching up and meeting him there halfway kind of thing.
well, it's more my keyboard or something. Like I can punch in a bunch of keys really fast, but then like one of them doesn't register. I've had this keyboard for like fucking 15 years. I need a new one. But I do notice that my keyboard kind of fucks up sometimes and it doesn't do things correctly. Or like if you have like a mouse and like you're holding down like a click button and then it's kind of like flickers. Like sometimes it'll, let it go and not. Like my keyboard does that.
Well, if we're ending here,
We should end here.
hail,
We've been
hail,
on this for
hail
a
Super
while.
Earth for democracy. Our brave young men and women fighting for our freedom here in Malevolent Creek, Space Nam.
Space
Remember
Jam.
the creek, guys. Remember the creek.
Dude,
Do your part. Do your part.
Creek is rough. I hate that place, man.
I've spent a couple days where I come here and just like play with pubs and try to get them out, especially the lower level ones.
Just get them to extract. They don't know
Yeah,
what they're in
pretty
for.
much. Trying to save those young Helldiver lives.
Wow. All right.
But,
I'm gonna go ahead and stop here then. So yeah, thanks for
freedom.
doing another round of this. I appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. So thanks everyone for hanging
Maybe the
around.
audio is going to be better here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna edit this and it's gonna be weird, but I'm gonna try something different. So we'll see how this works. But
Sounds good.
anyway, peace, peoples. Have fun. See you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.
For freedom.
Freedom.